Hello, everybody. It's Theater Thursday. I am Marga Gomez. I have a couple of great guests that I'm going to be talking to today. I had problems with my hat, and I'm going to adjust my lighting. I have a technical problem now because I can't. Hmm. I'm trying to figure out how to mute. Okay. This cannot be happening. Uh, I apologize about that, friends. No, incredible. Uh, I'm a theater person, and obviously, I don't have a TV show, and I'm going to, at the risk of maybe I'll just there. I think I won't be listening to myself anymore. That was unnerving, my friends. And I apologize, but you know what? Now I know that my volume was a little bit too loud. I'm gonna dim the lights a little bit. What do you think of that, huh? Make it a little bit more romantic. I have a really nice lens on my camera, and technically, I'm just going to see if I can turn it. If I turn it maybe this way, uh, that might be a little bit better. You know, I actually have a technical live streaming expert who's going to be on the show in just a few minutes. She's so nice, and I don't know why I fall apart technically. Whenever she's near, but I'm going to bring her on. This this is my second week of Theater Thursday. I want to give you a nice, tight, compact show with a lot of information you can take away for those of you who are in theater, who love theater. Theater has continued through the pandemic, and there are various hale and hearty theater people who are keeping it going in tech, in stage management, in lighting design, in sound design. I actually got cast in a play with 9 other actresses that is starting in about a week or so. It's called The Woman's Party, and it's from a theater in New York, and the actresses from all over the country. This is going to be a trip for me because what I do is solo theater, and it has its challenges, obviously, and I'm going to find them all before this half hour is over. But and I'm wondering if our first guest has any thoughts on this, but to be in a play with other people remotely, virtually, and then you're talking to them, uh, to make that feel real, I think is something I'm very excited to explore because I know how to make it feel real when I do a solo show. Since the pandemic, I've adapted 4 of my 1-person shows and streamed them at The Marsh, streamed them at Dixon Place, New York, streamed them for UC Berkeley, streamed them for San Diego Rep, all in 1 year. And honestly, we can't tell from this, but they look really great. Same camera, but I don't know what I did wrong. But maybe our next guest can tell us. Oh, by the way, my pronouns. My name is Marga Gomez. I'm wearing a derby because my hair looked a little bit stringy, and it's very Laurel and Hardy were some of my favorite comedians when I was growing up. My pronouns. Yes, that's a party game that's never going to happen. Is it? Guess my pronouns. Probably at birth, she, her. I'm still holding on to that, and lately I've been exploring a binary. I'm also a Gemini, so it's very hard to figure out who I am, who I want to be. But my pronouns would be she, her, they, them. I personally think, you know, I a lot of people bring up, oh, but it's grammar and blah, blah, blah. But then there are ways to explain it where a person is dual nature, and that we just can't get hung up on 10th grade grammar. All right, maybe it was 3rd grade grammar, but yeah, those are my pronouns. And now it gives me great pleasure to bring on my guest. We're going to be talking within Zoom, live streaming to YouTube for Theater Thursday. Theater. I told myself I was just going to go a little bit theater Thursday. Now with the Derby, I think. Please let me know in the comments if you think I should wear this derby every week, and just, so there's something that's consistent. Also in the comments, which I can't see right now because I don't know how to turn off the audio from YouTube itself. So, but I will reply to all the comments once this is over. Maybe Annie will help me figure it out actually while we're doing it. Let's bring her on. Annie Tillis is the stage manager, tech deity for the Playground Solo Festival, which is closing this weekend. We have both of my guests are involved with the Playground Solo Festival. I myself did my show Memory Tricks on opening night of the Playground Solo Festival, and I've seen several of the plays, and I really, I'm so excited that both my guests, Carla Vega, who is the writer-performer of a piece called Grandma's Hands, and she's also Boricua. I'm half Boricua, half Cuban, which means there's insanity on both sides of my family. She'll be joining us later to tell us what her process is as a writer-performer who's gone from live theater into this virtual realm. But we couldn't do it without tech. And even though we're solo performers, we always rely on the people that frame us and support us with lights and sound. And such a person is my guest, Annie Tillis. Yes.
Hello.
Hi. What have I done wrong so far, Annie?
Seems to be all okay over here.
My camera kind of looked a little better with the light, right?
It does look a little better with the light. It's still a little blurry, but I don't know what's happening with your camera over there.
Well, but when I did the show with you, it looked really good, right?
I think it looked really good. And I love the fact that you're using Ecamm and that you have actually dived into trying to play with the technological side of theater and tech. And it's really one of my biggest points that I keep coming back to whenever I talk to anyone about technical theater in this world, is how much of the onus has shifted from tech people to performers, and just the incredible difference between, you come into a live stage theater and all of your props are set out beautifully on a table for you, and all of your costumes are hung up and they're clean and they smell nice, and your makeup is in its correct spot, and if anything is out of place, you can just ring that little stage manager bell, and here comes a shifting little human scurrying up. What can I do? What can I help? And your battle gets resolved, and then you perform, and your lights are moving and your sound is modulating, and all you have to worry about is acting.
This keeps us in our infantile stage, right?
Which is a beautiful thing. A beautiful herd of cats are all of my actors always. But that's the crazy thing about
a herd of cats.
There are. Have you ever tried to herd cats?
I'm an alley cat. Yeah, no. They're not cooperative. They're not team players.
Not team players. I mean, eventually, they'll lay on the ground in the sun and purr at you. I like that version of actor. But at any rate, but so then in this virtual world, all we are dealing with is the actors dealing with their sound, their lights, their camera, their costumes, their props, all of that. And us tech people sit here and we're like, yep, that looks like a thing. So it's a strange adjustment. And one of the reasons I became a stage manager was because I have a control problem and I like to be in control of everything.
Uh-huh.
Um, and it's been difficult in the pandemic and in this new virtual world to only be able to talk people through problems instead of being able to get my hands on them myself.
Oh my gosh. I think we were a pair because I came in there and it was just like, leave me alone. I've got my Ecamm software and the scenes and then like immediately everything fell apart on me. My lighting, my it was like I was turning into a papaya. Uh and
Right.
and I thought, why am I getting 2 hours? I just walk in and click my app. I had I was very proud that I had my next scene just on a Stream Deck mobile app, and we used the full 2 hours for problems I didn't even know I had. And I don't know. I mean, I think it made you happy too, because I was ignoring you and saying, I don't need this.
Well, I mean, and that's the thing, and that's what's been interesting about another thing that's been interesting about the digital realm is the expectation of what we all know to be theater and what we expect to be theater and what we expect a stage manager to be able to do or not to be able to do has kind of all turned on its head. And like there are stage managers who haven't done anything in the digital realm yet. And that's totally cool. And it's a different world. And I respect that just as much. But it's a weirdness when you get into a situation where you don't know what your stage manager can do,
True.
and I feel like maybe if we had all had, especially in this festival, if we had all had a little bit more time to talk about what these processes were going to look like and what these shows wanted to look like, then maybe I would have been a little bit more hands-on in general.
Oh, I wish you had been. And by the way, when I just said true back then, that was like a sneaky sound check because I wasn't sure if my audio was on. What can I say here to see the green bar move?
Love
Um,
that green bar.
Now, I have like a whole list of preset questions, but I knew we wouldn't need them because we would just start going into it. So I want to explain for people who haven't, I'm hoping that I will, that all that herd of solo theater cats will find this YouTube program that I'm going to be doing every Thursday at 3 o'clock. And it's just going to get like slicker and slicker and slicker. And then you're going to come back, Annie, and you're going to go, please teach me, Marga, teach me everything you know. But it's we use two different kinds of software. And if I had known all the things that you could do, because I have worked with stage managers who just basically, they just basically turn on the Zoom for you. It's not that they couldn't, but they don't really have a passion for it, and they're not computer people.
Right. I
You
mean, and
know,
it's a whole learning curve too, right? Like if you are used to being an analog stage manager, which I prefer, like let's write everything down instead of like emailing things. I don't know. Lots of colored pencils, the best way to go.
ooh,
And
yes.
and all of my colored pencils. And
Oh, what a shame.
like
Oh,
they're all
yeah.
here, they're all ready. But
We could do a live stream show about the analog stage manager. How about that?
I'd be super down. I mean, I love that world, but
Yeah.
there are people who that's what they learned and that's what they do. And moving to a digital platform where you have to now understand the internet and what upload speed versus download speed is.
This
And
is really important. Yeah, the you've got to have stable internet and just the simple checklist. Again, this is for newbies. If you live with people, you have to make sure they're not watching Netflix or any of that. It's like you have to be the only person accessing the internet and not just Wi-Fi. You got to wire that sucker, right? You need
and people don't even know what Ethernet is anymore. This is the crazy thing about the younger generation is And what I've learned from working with students recently is they have no idea that what an Ethernet is. They don't know that you can plug your computer in, because computers don't even have Ethernet ports anymore, like not laptops. So we're in this world where
they have adapters.
They have adapters, but like then you have to go out of your way to buy an adapter. I mean, I have one sitting here now, but it's a whole new world, and like not. This is the crazy part. Not even the people at the Apple store knew what an Ethernet adapter was.
No, really?
I walked in there, dead serious, true story. I got this MacBook that I am now on because of the digital theater world, and because you need a MacBook to run QLab, which is your quotes, your things for sound.
Right. QLab is fantastic, and it's free.
It's the best.
It's, for audio anyways.
Yeah, it's free for audio. It's a little more complicated when you get projections and videos in there. But anyway, so I bought a MacBook, decided I needed to get an Ethernet cord to plug into my Ethernet. Great. She goes to the Mac store. She walks in, and there's this lovely, 20 some odd woman who is there to help me. And I ask her.
Wait. Did you just refer to yourself as she?
Yes, I'm in third person now.
Okay. I just want to, a lot of people don't.
Sorry. We'll keep it in first person.
It's just the and she's also same pronouns, she, her. Okay, Go ahead.
But yeah, so I wander into the store, and there's this nice lady who is there to help me. And I ask for an Ethernet port, an Ethernet adapter. And she asks me, what is it for?
She's a genius.
I mean, it's for one thing.
Geniuses today. They're not like they used to be. Now, listen, Annie, before we get, because I know you have to go to rehearsal, because this Playground Festival is running one more weekend. There's how many more shows?
There are 6 total, 2 per night.
So you buy a ticket and you get to see 2 shows. And the website for that, because I didn't get a chance to write it into the YouTube thing, but it's okay because we don't have anybody watching, but we will. So what is the website now, in case somebody is listening?
Oh man, I don't know.
Playground-sf.org. I think that's what it is, Annie.
I believe that.
Let me handle that. Okay. I want to just, I have some questions, and I ain't going to lie. I wrote them down. So I just want to make sure. These are Carla's questions. Carla, we're going to be with you in just a second. Okay, this is, we really don't, we've covered so much, but what? All right, so basically eCam and open broadcast software are the ways, much like QLab, that you can pre-program scenes for a theater person. You can have backgrounds. You did something amazing that I hadn't seen, and that was OBS, where you could do a screen share, but you can move things around. You can put 2 actors together with OBS. Ecamm is more like, okay, this is the camera for that scene. This is the background. This is the sound effect. I can do all that, but it's a really nice tool to have if you live by yourself and you're trying to stream shows. And then with OBS, real quick, your origin story with OBS was you were on Twitch. Is that right?
Yeah, I wasn't on Twitch, but the origin story with OBS was I started working for a company that wanted to do something a little bit more drastic in the theater world than just Zoom theater. And we had discovered that streamers on Twitch, the 12-year-old boys who stream themselves playing games, they've been using for years this program that is free, and it's called OBS. And that's the origin story. The fun part of that is to make sure that it would work for our purposes. We ended up setting up a meeting with a dungeon master of D&D. Because that's the system that he uses to run his virtual D&D games. And we decided, yes, it would work out very well for us. And I've been using it ever since.
You were a little competitive too, right? You wanted to just like, you wanted to own those boys. You want to own those boys. All right. So that's how you got your passion for OBS that you do so well. So I wanted to, you've, so you have done, we get 2 hour tech rehearsals with Annie. And you told me that you will put in their sound effects, right? You'll follow the script. And is there a typical tech rehearsal for a solo performance festival performer?
In the virtual world?
Uh, in this festival that we're doing now, the Playground Festival.
Yeah. I mean, the big things are basically just checking all of those tech aspects that would be in my hands that are actually now in the actor's hands. So much like our tech rehearsal went, we end up looking at lights, making sure that there's no hot spot of light on an actor's face, so there's glare, or making sure that their color is correct. That's a big thing that I've actually learned in the digital world is, I mean, it's fairly obvious, but I'll say it anyway. The color of light that you put on an actor's face really matters, because if an actor has a more golden tone in their skin, then putting a yellow light on them is going to make them glow gold. And that's not necessarily what we want, right?
Annie, when you say yellow light, might you be referring to the kind of quality of light that we have in our lamps in our home?
Not necessarily. I'm talking about the actual color of the light. So
An amber.
an amber, yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
so the two most common types colors of light that we have in our homes are amber or white. And the white light is that sort of bluey
It's the
LED.
daylight. Do they call that
I
daylight?
think I don't know what they call them, but one is more of an amber golden color, and the other is more of a whitish bluish color. And it matters what color you end up putting on your skin because
Oh,
some
sure.
colors will look better than others, you know.
Absolutely.
And doing that check, doing the internet check, I always have everyone run a speed test
Hmm.
um, usually before we get into tech, just so we can have a general idea of what their internet connection is going to look like, and whether we need them to get an Ethernet or move closer to their router or get everyone in their house off of Wi-Fi or disconnect their phone from Wi-Fi, or all of that
Put
good
everything on
stuff.
do not disturb before a performance.
That's a big one. Yeah, don't nothing that can talk to us. Another good one is if we have pets, to move them into a different space so that no meowing, barking,
Yeah,
purring.
I saw one of the shows. You know what? I came up with a little hack for this amazing performer that I saw who had I'm sure they're not the only one, a loud pet. I'm not even going to identify the species. And I just thought, I don't, what do you think of this? All right. You have a pet who suddenly randomly starts acting up and being loud. What if you, because it's weird to a pet, suddenly like they're looking at you performing to a computer. What if you do that same show to the pet time after time? And then the pet is like, oh, it's that show. I'm going to peace out. What do you think of that?
Oh,
Right?
that's a great idea. It's
I
like,
see you. Yes.
oh, it's just like having a fiance who's not into theater necessarily, and they hear the show so many times that they can just tune it out.
Yeah,
I think
that's
that's
what I
brilliant.
think. Yeah, I was going to recommend that to some, but anyway, that's my hack. So
I
I
like that.
want I want somebody, if any solo performers out there would like to try that, performing, rehearsing for your pet. I mean, who's a more loving audience than your pet? And then just see how long does it take? How did I say this when the pet walked into the kitchen? All right. Last question. Uh, you've kind of given the advice. I knew that we needed more time for this. Oh yes. All right. Any scary or funny moments during these last 3 weeks that you have been running the
Ugh.
tech for Playground Solo Festival for?
I think, I mean, a decent amount of scary moments, and I hate to admit scary moments because, stage manager,
Could be
all
funny. Could be
powerful.
funny.
Well, I mean, a lot of like the shows are incredible. And it's been a fantastic experience just to be able to work with so many different people, so many different directors, see so many different kinds of shows and see where people's minds are at. Just switching between like the absurdly personal sex conversations versus racial tension conversations versus a drag horror look at The Bride of Frankenstein.
That was my co-headliner. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, amazing.
Chris Steele.
Chris Steele, we love you. But so that's not funny, but it's been an amazing thing. But the underlying terror that always exists for me in this platform is just there are so many things that are uncontrollable, including the internet, including people's computers, and there's just an existential dread that sort of underlies all of this for me, that anything could go haywire, and there's really not a whole lot that I can do about it, which is the worst part, because I always expect something to go wrong, but I have attuned myself to being able to handle those things in a timely and fairly calm manner. But when your actor who's in LA, her computer goes out because her internet is funky, I'm here. So
did that happen during one of the performances?
It hasn't yet, and I'm knocking on wood because it's not going to.
Oh, shouldn't have said it.
No, we say it so that it's
Beetlejuice. Okay.
Yeah, no. I mean, we say it so that it's gone.
Of course, yeah.
But it's. And yeah, I mean, luckily things have been fine, and things will continue to be fine. And I always say that optimism is the best medicine. But it's a beautiful, it's hard. It's hard work.
We got a comment from Carla. Why don't we dovetail? Carla, you want to jump in here? And Carla was this is Carla Vega, everyone. I hope this is coming through on YouTube. And Carla was like, I wonder who that is.
I wonder who's having internet issues in Los Angeles, and we are praying for the best each show.
Wait, Carla, are you in Los Angeles?
I am. Yes, yes.
I wasn't talking about you guys, though. Could be anybody in LA.
Oh, okay.
I'm
gonna go. No.
Yeah, I was like, bye.
Bye. Never mind.
The LA internet is real bad. Before Annie goes, I also want to say that the 6 performances that people are going to be able to watch this weekend have already been performed. So in fact, this is the weekend to go, because everybody's going to be smooth. They're not going to make the same mistakes. They're not. They're going to make different mistakes, new mistakes. So Annie,
it's live.
Thank you so much. We'll see you this weekend at Playground Solo Festival.
Thank you so much, Marga. This has been so much fun, and have fun with Carla. And I'll talk to you guys soon.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Annie. Bye.
Yay.
Marga.
Everybody,
hey.
I would like to give you your full introduction, Queen. This is Miss Carla Vega, or Carla Vega. I don't know where the tongue rolling comes in. My name is Marga, but sometimes when I'm with the Latinx people, I go Marga. So, they'll buy me some drinks.
Yeah.
But Carla Vega is the writer performer of a beautiful show that I saw that's going to be playing this weekend called Grandma's Hands at Playground Solo Festival. That's playground sf.
Playground hyphen.
And then you go on there, and there's all these things that Playground does, but just look for the solo festival, and it'll show you all the remaining nights in the shows. And we also have some discounts I'll tell you about later. Carla, how are you?
I'm great. I'm so happy to be here with you. I have been taking notes from the last half hour. QLab, Ecamm, OBS. I should have said yes to that D&D invite. And
and lighting. I've gone to a different dungeon.
So all right. I'm an analog girl, so so this is, I'm so used to a black box and playing with space objects.
Well, let me get right into the questions because that is one of the questions. But first, can you,
Yeah.
just like in like that little log line, can you give us a log line of what I know? I know that it's based on your own family, what Grandma's Hands is, and why you should go.
Yeah. Well, Grandma's Hands it follows the journey of, it was inspired by my Puerto Rican grandmother. I'm half Filipino, half Puerto Rican. And it's inspired by her life in Puerto Rico and her journey to living in San Francisco. And it's really a tribute to our ancestors, to my paternal ancestor in particular. And it honors, I think, all and their courage and creativity in the world. So it was just it's an exploration of ancestry, and it's using characters and movement and film and flashbacks from my last piece. So we kind of use a multimedia and sound cues and everything. And Annie had a big hand in helping us with that.
Yeah, yeah. Were you able to get it all done in 2 hours with Annie in your tech rehearsal, or did you need extra time? Because it did seem very complicated.
Yeah, well, we did a run through just to have them have her and Jim take a look at what our show was going to be about before our actual tech run, and that ended up kind of turning into a tech run. So we've had, I mean, yeah. So it kind of parlayed into some extra. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they
we
had
definitely
asked
used
for that.
the 2 hours. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they had asked
yes,
to see a run through for me, and I instead gave them just a. I just filmed, recorded it in my house because I was just really afraid that they could say we don't like it. I don't know. I was just really but it really was because they wanted to help us, right? But I was just afraid.
Yeah, you know what? I kind of like, all of this kind of kept really quickly, and so many changes I didn't expect to were made to my piece that and that run through or that request came pretty early on in the process. So I kind of just took it as, you know what, I'm going to show them what I have so far and show them what I got so far. It wasn't near completion. We were still working out a lot of the ending even, and some of the other creative parts of the show. So but Annie was super helpful, and I really felt like they were there to just help the best performance possible, or help create whatever we wanted that was in our heads to bring forth for the show. So
yeah, she's I've been like doing this live streaming thing, and Annie has just, I didn't even think a person like Annie existed, because they're all coming, like she said, from the analog world, to find someone who really understands what we need and knows the tools and the hacks to get us there.
Yeah.
Your piece was just crafted so well. Now, when I started live streaming, I did my 13th one-person show was supposed to open on the first day of lockdown, March 13th, 2020. So we were told, we were all, Stacy from Brava Theater sat us down and said, we're going to have to, lockdown is happening now, and, we'll postpone it. But we have a videographer who's a friend of Brava, and he showed up for our final invited dress rehearsal, and he filmed it. And so that's how I got into live streaming, because I thought, I got this really cool film, and I started mixing the film and what I come up with at home, and just and what I loved, so many things I loved about your piece was to hear the audience, because we're so, it's getting to be almost almost a year of not being
Yeah.
in a theater with an audience. And so the mix of it, just as far as rhythm and visuals and energy and storytelling, but also to remember where we actually were a year ago
Yeah.
and what we were doing. Where was that theater that your footage is from?
So I originally created this piece as a work in progress piece in 2012 with Tiada Productions down here in Los Angeles. And we presented it one weekend on Mother's Day weekend in 2012 at the Attic Theater, a very small theater in Mid-City, LA.
So that's from
And
2012?
I just, that footage is from 2012. And I just so happened to have uh, a piece of video that actually translated relatively well, because in general, I know that theater does not translate well being videotaped, as far as dramatically or sense. Yeah, it's just, it doesn't translate as well all the time as much as we want to. But that one, it ended up translating pretty well. Um, so when I got the invitation to be a part of this festival, I immediately went to, okay, I'm going to find a theater space and recreate it and like do it and just like have like a video, a recording on a tripod and go for it. But um, but with the limited time and with the thoughts of like, well, we are on this platform, we are presenting it on Zoom. How can we use it, and how can maybe we update it? And I didn't even know what the possibilities were. So when I just knew I needed a director, and I needed to start the process of getting this on its feet, because I only had a few weeks.
Oh, what is your director's name, by the way? They're amazing. Oh yeah, what
Yes,
are your pronouns? I'm sorry, I'm
she.
really bad with the.
Yes, my pronouns is she, her, and
She,
my
her.
director Shamala Morty.
Uh-huh.
Shamala Morty. Her pronouns are she, her as
Okay.
well. She is my original director for this piece. So the flashbacks that you see in my piece were also collaborated with her, and thank goodness she was able to be available so many years later to help me bring this back to life, because I wanted a certain kind of magical quality. And we both Shamal is also a dancer as well as a director and a creator of theater. And so with both of our movement backgrounds and kind of this mystical energy that she carries within herself, I really felt really held by my intention to create a certain aesthetic. And she just really held the magic of that. And really, it was an intuitive process between us. And we just happened to have a really good synergy together.
That is exactly what came through for me.
Good.
Um, and also how you selected which portions of the live performance to weave in, and then where to come
Yeah.
back in the character who is the main storyteller. Again, I don't want to give too much away. I just really want to anybody who sees this before, when is the final performance?
Tomorrow, Friday, February 5th. The show starts at 7 o'clock. I go on with Diane Barnes. It's a double bill. Diane
Oh,
goes first at 7. And then her show's about 45 minutes to an hour.
it's
And then I
wonderful.
come on at 8 o'clock. My show runs
That's a
35
hot
minutes.
ticket. That is a hot ticket. That is like two queens, two genius queens, and not genius like the kind Annie was talking about. Real geniuses. You know what Ethernet's about. All right, let me get to these. Otherwise, I know I keep you
Yeah.
here. Uh, so basically, and I think you said this, that you sort of reimagined. Oh, I know a question I want. You reimagined what the show was in the footage, and then
Yeah.
between 2012 and now, have you performed Grandma's Hands live? Were there other iterations of it?
I have not. I've wanted to.
Amazing. That's
Yeah, I've
fate.
done.
That's like the universe.
Yeah, really. I've done a lot of other performances and writing. And actually, in this last year, I was doing a lot of writing, and I was really exploring my Filipino ancestry and stories, kind of mining for stories and that have been ruminating. And so I thought, when I applied to this, I was originally going to apply with, I'm going to do a new show and it's going to be, something new. And when the deadline came to apply, I didn't have it all together. I just had it, I just didn't have enough time. So I almost didn't apply. And then very last minute, I said, wait a minute, I have grandma's hands. It still has legs. I still, her spirit still lives in me, and her story can still be explored and told. And then I sent the application in like the last day. And
that's what we do. That's what we do the last day.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
and
application
I was like,
day. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I'm like, well, I got this other stuff going on. So I don't know if I do it, I don't know how I'm going to do it, but and even the development of it, in using the original idea of using the past footage was like, well, I don't know if I'll have time to memorize everything and put it on its feet fully. So maybe I can use flashbacks. But actually, in the creation process, I ended up rewriting a lot of the live stuff that I perform and restructuring the whole piece. So it was a lot of work.
Yeah. You were really, you were so much your grandma. I don't think I'm giving this away now. Now we know it's your grandma. But she was so present. I mean, it wasn't you. It really was like you were channeling her, that, everything was, you didn't have to see somebody trying to remember things like me, the flow was incredible. The pacing, Shamla and you just really knocked it out of the park. And it's interesting for me because when I heard about the festival, I just thought, because it's like, yeah, what can I bring that, can work, or that I can figure out how to make work in this medium with my resources, which is just me alone trying to make. And I decided to go back to the show that I did 30 years ago. And it's so funny because I just really feel like, I can't believe I haven't met you before. So you took a 2012 show, which is, it's still kind of a reach, but I do feel like that show is more compelling now and more relevant now, because we're all, so anxious about our family and older relatives, that it's as if you wrote the entire thing yesterday. It's like, what's this footage from? This seems like she just wrote it for COVID times,
Well, like I said, a lot of the live portion of it was, I only had a few weeks to get this all together, but I really had to sit for the first 2 weeks and kind of download new information and vision how to make this more relevant. And really looking back on my original show, I was a different person back then, and things have happened since then. And so really her messages for me and for all of us were different now.
Yes.
And now that, and especially in these last few weeks with COVID and with just the separation and, a lot of people passing on, and seeing that happen in my community just at an increasing pace over the last weeks, I really wanted this to touch on that connection to the ancestors, that relationship that we can have even in the passing, and just to really address and bring some levity and some light and some joy to what we're experiencing now. So it became more and more of an offering as I wrote it, and as I, as it was created.
There's so much joy in it. You feel so much hope, and you feel like, well, I don't want to say too much, but again, I just have to say, go see it tomorrow night, playground -sf.org. All right, I want to get these questions in, and then okay, so many things I want to ask you. So we got the rehearsal process, your 2 hours, really within the show, your most of your tech was going to the videos. You didn't have a lot of sound cues in there. Everything was built into the videos that you use so very well, right? And so that was
we had a couple of sound cues. We had 2 sound cues and video cues, and we definitely we had Annie facilitate all that, and she volunteered to facilitate.
She put
the
in
sound
that
cues as well.
that window that was not in the footage. She just put in a window, and that there was that scene. I think where you no, that was in there.
No, the window was a projection from the original 2012 piece.
Oh, okay. I thought she was moving the window with her magical OBS.
Oh.
All right.
Oh, wait, the window that I'm in?
No, not your window. No, in the theater. I thought she went in there. There's like you're watching, your character is watching the footage, which is a very, very beautiful another beautiful moment. And so I guess that the character is just sort of, she was kind of floating you around, and then the footage was happening. It's something to watch for.
Yeah.
All right. All right. These are like, basic inside the actor studio questions. Tomorrow, what do you have a ritual before these performances, or all your performances? What do you do to get in the zone?
Well, it depends on the performance, really. And it depends on what I need to muster before. I can just say for the last one, I was able to get together with Shamala before I actually went on via FaceTime. And I said a grounding prayer. I called upon my ancestors, hers, and welcomed in the audience and who needed to be there with them. So and then Shamala talked me through a grounding exercise. She's also a yoga instructor and has such a beautiful, soothing energy.
You are so set. You are so set.
She's amazing. So she helped bring me to, so we did a grounding exercise before, just a meditation. And sometimes I come from a martial arts background. My dad has a karate school in San Francisco, and I would often do the opening. Manuel Vega's Shaolin Kempo. It's actually closed right now due to COVID.
I want to learn.
Yeah, it's on it's in my old neighborhood in Glen Park.
Glen Park. That's where I live.
Area.
That's where I live. Oh, but it's gone out of business then? Has it? Okay.
Well, it's closed. It's closed its doors for now. Yeah.
For now. Okay. All right.
Yeah. But anyway,
Park.
so yeah, I would do an opening kind of movement. So I'll do some stretching. I'll do my vocal exercises, the regular actor stuff to kind of warm my body up as the instrument.
That's true. That is important. I noted. Yeah. I have a Pilates mat.
Yeah.
I don't use it.
Roll it out.
What do you eat during on a show day? What do you eat? Do you have a certain kind of diet for show days?
And not really. I try to stay hydrated, and I try to remember to eat, but not too soon before my show. So
you don't want that gurgling. You don't want the gurgling because the camera picks that up.
Yeah, I don't want the gurgling from an empty stomach. And I also don't want to, I need my energy levels, stable for the show. It's a little different for these kind of performances because when I'm on stage, I extend more energy, and that nervous energy from the live audience is more there than here. So here I'm, just doing it in my house, and, so I try not to eat too heavy, but I try to eat at least an hour before I'm performing to kind of digest. And yeah.
Do you have to do any controls besides just unmute? And then Annie does the rest, or are you, because like when I do my shows, I'm constantly clicking and all this. Are you able
Yeah.
to just perform and have it all happen around you?
Well, I have, I did the set dressing, I have costume, I have props, I have scene changes, and I
Oh,
do
that's
move.
right. You change.
Mhm.
I don't have that. Oh.
No spoilers.
Right. Sorry. But okay, so you do things, but as far as operating any kind of computer gadgets, lighting, everything's all set up. Oh, you might have to turn
Yeah,
things around a little
my
bit.
I I preset my lighting, and I was kind of doing the muting, but Annie's taking care of those a few times that I need to be muted, and then I move the camera some.
Okay. All
Um,
right. That's all. Let's just it. All right. This is a question. I don't know. I hope it doesn't get sad. But last week you had that was your first virtual performance, right? Okay. Of
of
a
Grandma's House.
piece. Uh, okay. But like, was that like your first biggest, like you're streaming a one person show online
Yeah,
since the pandemic?
yeah.
Okay. So it's a big
I've
deal.
done some theater, but yeah,
Okay. So it's a big
yeah.
deal, right? And you have memory of when you did it in 2012 and what that was like as it were. What did it feel like when the performance was over? Uh, you play, you play it out, you say thank you. Uh, you talk to some people because they make it like Playground makes it so it can be in they'll send you up to panelists from the Zoom webinar attendee so people can actually see you, right? You can see them.
Yeah,
But
people can jump on screen.
when that was over, what did it feel like? Were you high? Were you down?
I was so high. I felt, you know, after a show, there's that adrenaline rush anyway. And usually live, you get to hug people, you get to, maybe have a drink with everyone after the show, or just, hang out and just kind of ground down with people and talk in person. It was really wonderful to get the feedback from the audience and open up the Zoom room and have people join me on screen and in the chat, you know. So that was wonderful to get the immediate feedback, which is similar to theater. It was different not to have like hear people laughing or crying or the gasps or whatever it is on, or the
Yeah.
silence from a live audience. But no, I was I had a slew of like messages that I was returning, and talked to my family afterwards, and just kind of soaking in the feeling of being witnessed for this offering, and knowing that I've tell and family members who've been able to come that aren't in LA, and people with this medium, it's so wonderful that people can stream in from anywhere, because in 2012, like I just had like maybe 50 people in the audience, and that was it. If we're lucky, sometimes it's 10, sometimes it's 5 people in the audience,
There's no small audiences. As long as
yeah, and
there's as many on stage as there are in the audience, right? Or
yes,
however that goes. Yeah,
but
yeah.
yeah, but to be able to have people that we love come see the show like this was awesome.
That is, I do think, and I also because I spent a lot of money on my gear, although something's wrong with my camera, but I do think that when theaters open up again, when we're all vaccinated and it's safe to go to theater, I do think that the kind of work that we're developing here with Playground and the Marsh and other theaters that support and nurture live streaming theater, I think it's not going away. I think it's proved itself, especially for solo performers. because we can have everybody, not everybody's going to be able to travel, and we can reach like across the oceans to people.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I had a
Yeah.
friend in Cairo wake up at 5 a.m. to watch the show, and people on the East Coast and in Hawaii, family in Hawaii. So it was awesome. Yeah.
They didn't
It's
know that they could just watch the replay. You didn't tell them?
I tried to tell them, but
Carla,
yeah.
thank you so much. Again, there's, I mean, really, I could ask you and talk to you for a long time, but thank you for a beautiful performance. Thank you for honoring me with your participation in my second Theater Thursday. And I think this will be inspiring to many solo performers or aspiring solo performers out there, to see that it's fun and it's cool and it's scary and it's a challenge. It's exciting.
Yeah, there's a lot to explore. And on an aside, Marga, I wanted to let you know that my grandma Gloria's last name was Gomez.
Oh, that's a
So
great last
I
name.
just think that was really cool. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a great last name. So I
Well,
just wanted to share that with you.
we
And
all have a
also,
crush on her from that show. I'm telling you.
yeah,
Yeah.
she's a beautiful spirit, and really happy to be able to continue to celebrate her voice, you know. Um, and I also just wanted to put out my social media handle is at I am Carla Vega. I am CarlaVega, and that's on all social media sites.
Okay, so that's on Instagram.
Instagram, Facebook, wherever else, Twitter. Yeah.
I am Carla Vega. Very good. I am going to once we sign off, I'm going to go on into the YouTube thing. I had to turn it off because I kept hearing like the delay, and I'm still new at this. I'm really good at live streaming theater, but as a talk show host, I got to have a meeting with Oprah. Anyways, I'm going to enter the discount code. So what you can do is you can look into the description of this Thursday, Theater Thursday, and in that little blurb will be 3 discount codes, or 3 codes for Carla, and you can pay the broke rate, you can pay the regular rate, and you can pay the sponsor rate. And the lovely part about this is that Carla will get a little bit extra percentage from the lovely people at Playground Theater. Did I explain that correctly?
Yes, yes, it's important to use the codes if you want to support the artists directly, and we do get a cut of the box office. And if you can't afford, those offers, contact the box office directly, or call them, and we can work with you, because we definitely want you to experience this festival if you want to. But yes, please put in the codes and the coupon codes.
The coupon codes. Yeah, I'm going to do that immediately. Ms. Carla Vega, AKA I am Carla Vega. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Break a leg on Friday. And I know that we're going to see each other again. And Boricua por vida.
Boricua. All right. Thank you,
All
Marga.
right.
It's so wonderful to talk to you. Take care.
All right. We'll see you. I guess this is how we're just going to end it this way. We'll end it together. Thanks, everybody, for watching. The end of the show is here. End meeting for